surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go! Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14! Make it till death!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold Simpson!
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Matters Podcast fans, wrestling fans all over the world, and ICW Mafia? It is that time again. I can't even speak. It is that time for another installment of the ICW Podcast. That's right, my ICW Podcast, created by me, the head Anthony Walker, at your service. And today I'm going to review Up, Down, Left, Right, AC Start from Sheffield. That's right, you heard me right. That is the name of the show. God fucking. I mean, I think it's taken from the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's the Entertainment System tour, but it's the Nintendo one, the old school Nintendo console that used to be back in the day. I'm going back to the early 90s on this one, guys. Early 90s, late 80s at least. Back when I was about, I would say, 5 years old at the most. But yeah, we're going to review that. But before I review that, I got to bring some breaking news. In a couple of weeks, I will be reviewing Spaceballs. Now, as this goes out Tuesday, which is the 2nd of June, Spaceballs took place in Glasgow on the 31st. And there was one thing that I would imagine that will be on the on-demand service very, very soon, sometime this week. And it took place this past Sunday. Also, some news breaking down. Now, Mark Dallas posted a video up this past week on Facebook claiming that Red Lightning will not be in charge of Fear and Loathing in November as punishment because, well, Red Lightning's been acting like a douchebag, quite frankly, power hungry, power drunk, if you will, and Mark Dallas was not particularly pleased about it, and rightfully so. So, he, as punishment, could have fired him, which he didn't, but he, as punishment, made a certain WWE Hardcore Hall of Fame legend as the guest commissioner for the show, and that person is... Bye-bye! Yes, Mr. Mick Foley. Now, if you see this on YouTube or on SoundCloud, there's a link in the description to the video, which is on the ICW Online YouTube page. Go and check it out. You can get a sneaky peek of what went down. And also be sure to check out ICW On Demand this week as well. If you haven't got it, you're an idiot. Go and get it. It's the best £3.75 you'll ever spend. Also, a little bit of news this week as well. The London show that I reviewed last week is now up there on the ICW on-demand service for free. That's right. Apparently it's ICW's way or Mark Dallas's way of saying thank you to the fans. And apparently they're going to do that every month, or ICW's way. I don't know. But like I say, it's up there now for free. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's up there for free anyway. So go and check it out. Go and take advantage of that opportunity and go and check out what was an awesome show, which was headlined by Drew Galloway, Sabu, and Jack Jester. Check out last week's podcast for the review of it. And like I said, it's highly recommended a watch. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on and we'll get to the main point, which is the Up, Down, Left, Right, AC Start Sheffield show, which I'm about to review. And it kicked off with the ICW 0G Championship match between the new champion, Stevie Boy, defending the title against the Bollocks. Yes, you heard me, the Bollocks. Kenny Williams. Chain wrestling to start off, feeling out process, hold for hold, good quickness, evenly matched. Kick to the head from Kenny, avoids dive from Stevie Boy. Kick to the head of Kenny. Avoids dive from Stevie Boy. Kick Stevie Boy legs from under him, and then drop kicks, then dives on Stevie Boy. That was a mouthful. Toe to toe on the apron, knee rocks Stevie Boy, then two super kicks from Stevie Boy on Kenny. Then Kenny hits a clothesline. Knee rocks Stevie Boy, counter for counter, springboard elbow. Kenny gets a near fall. So even back and forth, quick pace counter wrestling. Stevie hits a twisting brainbuster and gets a near fall. Kenny gets a near fall, then hits Quackbuster, which is Kenny's finisher, which is the spinning DDT. It gets like into a head. You think he's going to do a head scissors move, but he turns it into a DDT. Stevie rolls Kenny up, gets a near fall, then hits the Glasgow Destroyer, which to you and I is the Canadian Destroyer, but it's a Glasgow Destroyer because it's Scottish, and gets the win and retains the ICW 0G title. Good match. You're going to get a good match out of them too anyway. I mean, that could be a main event match anywhere. Good start to the show, and that's how shows should start, with something like that. You know, like I say, standards. Like I've said many times, not only on my podcast but on Sunday Segways and other podcasts I've been on, standards. It's all about standards. Maybe WWE should take note on that as well. Kenny was then backstage and says that apparently it's going to be him at Flawless Victory. It'll be him and Noam Dar for the 0G title, number one contendership. So I will be reviewing that next week, so stay tuned for that. Then it goes to Chris Renfrew's match with what was supposedly Mikey Whiplash, but Mikey wasn't available due to the beating and the incident that took place last week in London, which gave him a concussion. Well, the last show in London, I should say. If you listen to last week's podcast, you know where I'm going with this. But Dickie Divers returns and challenges him to a fight and says it's going to be a street fight. So Divers then punks out a fan, and I mean punks him out. I'm not going to tell you what happened. You have to see for that for yourself. And then challenges him to a street fight. Drop kicks him outside. The fight takes place outside. Chris with the advantage on the stage. Chris takes a backdrop, then Dickie throws him in the crowd, and then dives on Renfrew, in control of the match. Fight all around. Divers slingshots into a wall, then face first into the shutters. Advantage Renfrew. Divers rocks Renfrew. Divers brings a chair, throws it in Chris's face. Back suplex onto a chair from Chris, gets it near fall, brings in more chairs, hits Divers with them, wedges two in the corner, then throws Divers into them. Chris brings a barbed wire steel chair into play, but gets suplexed on it. Then Divers hits Chris with it. Divers sets Chris up on the chair, his face on the chair. I think he was going to go for like a concerto move, but Wolfgang comes out, low blows Divers. Chris hits the T-Virus and gets the victory. Same old stuff again, isn't it, with Dickie Divers? Never seems to get a win. Never even seems to get a one-on-one match against Chris. But, yeah. Red Lightning demanded that the ICW Tag Team titles would be defended, but since Jackie Polo is out with a injury, it was going to be difficult because Coffey would then have to face the 55. They call out 55, come out and basically call out Polo Promotions. Coach and Mark Coffey come down to ringside, and basically a 2-on-1 beatdown begins. But Joe Coffey comes to the aid of his brother. Joe takes the fight to the 55 till Shah spinebusters him. Coffey's work together and take it to the 55. Mark gets a near fall. Kid fight slows down. Mark advantage 55 and he gets a near fall. Coffey in trouble. 55 take the fight to Mark. Shah slowing down Mark. Coffey all 55. Elbow gets Shah near fall. Great double team. Then corner drop kick from Kid fight gets a near fall. Mark gets space to tag Joe. Fight back on. Joe taking it to the 55. Leaping Bulldog gets a near fall. Joe swings Shah. Goes for no mercy. Kid stops that. Mark swings Kid with the full Nelson swing. Joe Shah go toe to toe in the middle of the ring. Joe looking for plunge to the Thames, but takes a pump up. I believe it was a powerbomb or uppercut. I believe it was an uppercut. Mark hits deadlift and gets a near fall. Mark hits the dead wish, then another dead wish. He does like a 2 death wish combo. He hits the dead wish first. Opponent drops to his backside basically, and then does it again, and gets the win, and Polo Promotions retain the belts thanks to a little help from the mighty wrestler that is Joe Coffey. Nikki backstage, fan takes a selfie, Nikki wondering what the hell's going on in a world of her own. Mark and Joe backstage say they have the same problem and say they will still watch each other's back and whatever, and Mark actually enjoyed that match and he said They should do it again sometime. That leads to the main event of the first half, which was Grado against New Age Clique member Wolfgang. Now, Grado does his entrance as he always does, but out of nowhere, Wolfgang attacks him from behind. Wolfgang chokes him with his shirt. Wolfgang one step ahead of Grado till Grado clotheslines Wolfie outside. Grado hits rolling slice from the apron. Fans get their turn to chop Wolfgang just like he did to Shah Samuels. Wolfgang tossing Grado into the ring post, advantage Wolfgang. Fury of elbows, then a clothesline on Grado by Wolfgang. Grado in trouble. Wolfgang spears Grado and gets a near fall. Wolfgang makes a mistake, then Grado hits rolling slice and gets a near fall. Wolfgang hits F5, which is wee roundabout move that Grado does. Grado gets a near fall from Grado and then misses a wee boot. Grado misses the wee boot. Wolfgang misses Senton, hits an F5 but gets a near fall. Grado hits the F5 and gets a near fall. Wolfgang counters. I don't know how that went down, but it's you'll get the idea. Wolfgang counters wee boot, rolls up Grado and gets the win. Renfrew attacks Grado, then Divers attacks Renfrew. Wolfgang stops that. Then out of nowhere, something I never thought I'd see again, considering what he went through, Chris Travis comes out of nowhere, then super kicks, which was a very poor execution of a super kick in a way, or very poor selling, but it super kicks him anyway. Renfrew chases Wolfgang out the wing and then puts the boots to Renfrew. Hugs Grado and he makes the save. NAK backstage, Renfrew accepts the chairs match. Fun and games are over and plans to end it with Dickie. Nikki Storm backstage again in a world of her own. So that was the first half of the ICW show. That was the first half of that. I liked it. A lot of mouthful there to read on my notes there, so I apologise if I messed that up at any point. But with that being said, I'm going to take a quick break, quick commercial and all that, play some promos, and then after that I'll be back with part 2, so stay tuned for new episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast, as well as other great professional wrestling related content. Be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube at www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. You'll get weekly episodes of the podcast and you'll get other great wrestling content as well. Be sure to check it out, subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. The Wrestling Matters channel, where wrestling matters, on YouTube.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
If you're a fan of the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Twitter page at WM Podcast for news, reviews, and upcoming episodes, and you will be let know on various other topics as well in the world of professional wrestling. So if you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to follow the Wrestling Matters podcast on Twitter at WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows. Oh my God! Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
ICW Mafia wrestling fans all over the world, welcome back to part 2 of the Wrestling Matters podcast production, that is the ICW podcast. That's right. Hope you've enjoyed the first part. Guys, if you're listening to this as well, I'm on SoundCloud right now. SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. Leave comments in there. Leave likes. Just share with the masses and spread the word in there for me. And you know what? Give me some feedback in there. Or if you want, go to THE_HEAD316@hotmail.com. Leave me an email. Send me an email as well on how I can improve the podcast. Not just this podcast, but previous podcasts as well. Like the other on the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. What can I do to make these podcasts great? Let me know. Holler at your boy. You know where to find me. Get me on at WM Podcast as well on Twitter. Follow me and I'll follow you. You can DM me in there as well. And not only that, Facebook.com/WM Podcast as well. Leave messages, leave feedback. Let me know. What can I do to improve? Is there anything I need to do to improve the podcast? Let me know. Holler at your boy one time, because I want to bring you the best in professional wrestling. Just like our affiliates, OSW TV, or Only Scottish Wrestling, at onlyscottishwrestling.co.uk. That just like they tell me, just like they told me, bring you the best in professional wrestling, only here on the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, above all that, let's get right into it. That's right, part 2 of Up, Down, Left, Right, AC, Start. Fucking quality. Entertainment system, names and this shit, man, Jesus Christ. Anywho, moving swiftly on, we'll get into part 2. And part 2 kicked off with a 4-way for the number 1 contendership to the ICW World Heavyweight title, which contested of Joe Hendry, Global Hero, Davey Boy, Noam Dar, and what was supposed to be Liam Thompson, but apparently Mr. Liam Thompson had an injury, turned out to be Martin Kirby of the 55. So, Kirby starts off fast till Henry hits the deadlift suplex, which is the bear hug switch into a suplex. Beautifully done. Triple team on Kirby till Dar takes a spear from Davey Boy. Advantage Dar, he manages to fight back. Kirby stops the Tower of Doom move that was attempted in the corner. Hendry in control hits fall away slam, then knocks Kirby off the apron. Davey Boy dives on Kirby after Hendry sidesteps him. Shin kick, roll up, gets a near fall. Dar locks a leg lock. Davey Boy misses splash, locks a Dar lock on Kirby, then Davey Boy locks a crossface. Very hard to keep up with. Davey Boy takes 3 low blows, then all 3 just kick him in the jackpot, all 3 of his opponents. Back and forth fast paced stuff. Henry hits fall away slam on Kirby again. Davey Boy hits low blows on all 3 members, on all 3 of the his opponents rather, and then kicks the referee. And then Big Damo comes out and destroys everybody, letting people know that he's the true number 1 contender, and it's him that's going to be facing Drew Galloway for the ICW title since he beat Dave Mastiff, and the referee throws the match out. So, with that being said, we'll move on. Good way to get, and by the way, that was a good way to get Damo over as well. To make a statement to let everybody know he's the number 1 contender. BT Gunn went one-on-one with Jack Jester. Feeling out process, Jester has the advantage. BT slowing things down. BT pisses off Jack with a slap. Then BT slingshots right into a chair. Jack gets a near fall. Jack backdrops BT outside but hits hard on the hard concrete as well. And the way BT landed didn't look very good. Fight outside, Jack then taking it to BT toe-to-toe. Jester in control, toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring. Jack then back on the outside, backdrops BT into the crowd, uses a chair on BT, Gunn that is. Fight over at the bar area, Jester hits BT with a security rail. Jester on offense, BT in trouble, BT rocks Jester with an elbow, then a boot, and an enziguri, then a missile dropkick, and BT gets a near fall. Jester superplex, gets a near fall. Jester grabs his weapon, which is the corkscrew. BT sees it coming, but Jester hits Ride to the dungeon and gets a near fall. BT spits blood in Jester's face, then drop kicks him off, all on the outside. He spits it in his face. Jester falls back into the corner of the barricades, right in front of the crowd, and then BT off the apron just runs and just drop kicks him right probably onto through the guardrail if they weren't so securely shot. BT uses a chair on Jack. BT, smelling blood, keeps hitting him with the chair. Jester will not stay down. BT gets a near fall. BT whipped but stops from going into a chair, turns back turns back around, Jack throws a chair in his face, then goes for BT but runs into a super kick from BT and BT gets a near fall. BT goes for a move but Whiplash's entrance video plays. BT gets distracted, Jester hits a tombstone on the chair and gets the win. BT gets a taste of his own medicine. The reason why I say that is because the way things were going before BT revealed himself at the Barramania is he was actually doing that to Mikey Whiplash. So a little bit of taste of your own medicine there. Noam Dar backstage hoping for his match with Kenny Williams that he will give him the match that he wants. Now, Kaylee Ray versus Nikki Storm. Nikki says there is a reason why Nikki says it's all about Nikki and calls herself white cheesecake of sports entertainment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to ICW, it's not sports entertainment, especially on this podcast. It's all about professional wrestling. So, if you want, if Nikki wants to go to be sports entertainment, I would imagine she'll have to go to WWE or TNA. But the last time she tried to go to TNA, they kicked her off boot camp, which still mind boggles me to this very day. Feeling out process to start off. Kaylee messes with Nikki's hair, a little bit of mind games. Nikki proves to be the stronger, but Kaylee Ray is quicker. Match on the outside, Nikki taking it to Kaylee Ray. Nikki in control of Kaylee Ray, hits a neck break and gets a near fall. Kaylee clips her forehead on the turnbuckle. Nikki gets a near fall, then hits a suplex and gets a near fall. Nikki working on the head of Kaylee Ray. It seemed that way as well, with all the falling over and the doing and everything. Kaylee Ray hits 2 clotheslines and a heel kick off the ropes. Gets a near fall. Kaylee Ray then dives on Nikki outside. Nikki hits Storm in muck. And yes, that's why I went by. I didn't call it that. I believe it was Billy Kirkwood that said that. I just went with it and gets a near fall. Kaylee Ray gets a near fall, then hits a front face suplex, which kind of looked like a cutter, to be fair. It kind of looked like she nailed a diamond cutter. She went for a suplex and then turned it into a diamond cutter, but I watched it back and it was actually a front face suplex. Gets a near fall. And then Kaylee Ray, counter for counter, Kaylee Ray manages to hit the gory bomb and get the win over Nikki Storm. And then Nikki was just a little pissed off really and, whinging backstage. More on that later. Then for the World Heavyweight Championship match, which was Drew Galloway, the champion, the ICW Heavyweight Champion of the world, against the Legions and Mikey Whiplash's right-hand man, Tommy End. Tommy swings the kicks to start off, almost catching Drew off guard, kicking the quad of Drew, rocking him. While that was going on, Damo comes out and joins the commentary booth. Drew hits a suplex, gets a near fall, then kicks the leg and clotheslines him, gets a near fall, then works on the leg back and back area. Running knee rocks Drew. Tommy baseball slides Drew into the crowd, then hits a moonsault off the second. I believe it was the top rope, off the top rope, and lands on his feet. It's beautifully done. And then they take the fight to the bar area. Tommy using a lot of kicks in this match. That was the story of this match as far as Tommy End goes. That he used a lot of kicks and used them to his advantage as well because he was rocking Drew. Drew taking the fight to end. Drew slams Tommy through the exit, which was the emergency exit. Drew flapjacks. Tommy takes a run at him and then Drew just picks him up and just flapjacks him right into the balcony above him. Head first right into the balcony, straddling his head. It was beautifully done. One way to knock a person out, by the way. Tommy basically just kicking the crap out of Drew. Drew telling him to bring it. Fight over at the bar area again. Drew takes him back to the ring and then just lawn darts him face first off the apron. Tommy hits his face off the apron. Drew hits an awesome suplex and gets a near fall. Beautifully done. Probably better than John Cena's suplexes. It was kind of like that, but better. Tommy double stomps the leg of Drew, drop kicks his legs, and dragon screw leg whips him off the top rope. Locks in a crab, but Drew gets a near fall. Somehow tries to counter it out, but then locks it back in again. The champion, End that is, champion in trouble. Drew suplexes End in the corner turnbuckle. End runs into a shotgun kick from Drew, and Drew gets a near fall. Tommy taking the fight to Drew, working on the legs, then takes a knee, then knees Drew in the back. Then suplexes Drew. Drew gets back up and clotheslines him. Drew hits an impact pile drive and gets a near fall. Tommy End hits a spin kick, and I mean a spin kick, almost takes his face off and gets a near fall. Tommy hits a knee, gets a near fall, counter for counter. Drew power bombs End in the corner. End hits a knee. Drew hits a clothesline back and forth, end to end. End flips Drew off. Drew hits 2 future shocks and gets the win and retains the championship. Damo says in the commentary booth, Drew's been ducking him and says he will get him in July and Drew will not beat him. And as Drew was leaving the ring with the championship, he failed to acknowledge the fact that Damo was there and just walked right past him. Nikki backstage, not happy, blames no one but herself and takes it out on her sidekick, Sami Zayn. And then to end it, Tommy End says he respects Drew because he deserves it. However, the NAK don't. And says Renfrew has bitten off more than he can chew. Whatever that means, I guess we'll have to find out very, very soon. Because I'm sure the Legion has something in mind for the NAK. With that being said, I absolutely enjoyed that. 5 out of 5 for me. There was some odd things about it, but 5 out of 5 all around. And yeah, good job, ICW as always. Can ICW at the moment do anything bad? I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ, their shows. Like I say, it's the best £30.75 I've ever spent on the on-demand service. With that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode of the ICW podcast. Tune in next week. I will be reviewing Flawless Victory. That's right, from the Glasgow's Garage. And yeah, until next time, ICW Matters. Be sure to check out the podcast on OSW TV, on oswtv.co.uk. Just look for the Wrestling Matters section. And check out our affiliates as well on this is it's the RFPW promotion on there as well. All information on the OSW TV site as well. Please check out our affiliates, show them some love, and until next time, my name is the H Daddy to the A to the D. Peace out. Haha. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows. Oh my God! Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!